All right, welcome into Market Day Report. I am Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. Thank you very much for tuning us in if that's what you're doing. But if you've been with us all day, hopefully I can make you stay. And I've got a little help from these markets. So before I bore you to death, why don't we move over and see what's going on in corn? Let's give that corn board a shot here. We're 6 1/4 cents higher in the front month east. 684.5 is last. 2.5 cents off the highs. So that's kind of strong going into it, right? 5 3/4 cents up in March. 690 1/4 is last there. Let's move along and see what we've got going on in soybeans. There you go. There's a 20 out there. 20 cents higher in the Nove. 1392.5, making a run towards that 14 level. 1396.5 was last, so we were only about 3.5 cents away. 17 3/4 cents higher in the Jan right behind it. That's got a 14 even and a half cent is last. Moving right along, he says, as the cow says. Wheat, what's Chicago wheat doing? 8 3/4 cents higher in that D's contract. 8.50 even is last, about 5 3/4 cents off the highs, well off the lows. March 9 3/4 cents higher, 8.69 1/4. If we move right along to the hard red wheat in Kansas City, the old HRW and KC, D's is up 9 1/4. 9.51 even is last, 4 cents off the highs. 9 3/4 cents higher in the March. 949.5 is last there. So not a bad board, but pretty good boards across all of these contracts. 10 3/4 cents higher in the spring wheat in Minneapolis. 964 1/4 is last. Again, that's about 2 cents off the highs. March is up 11 cents actually to 970 1/4. There you go. I'm afraid to look at this, but we'll do it anyway. Let's take a look and see what cotton's doing today. After all the good news we just went through, cotton still posts a loss. 14 points lower. 78.15. We got a 7 handle in front of that. That one hurts a little bit. Let's bring in our next guest analyst. It's going to be Jim Warren. He's with CHS. Jim, thanks for coming on the show. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, but what are your thoughts here?
Well, we're bouncing off some support areas. It is low volume, but nice to see that. Corn exports were at the low end of estimates, 400,000 tons. And we did bring our uptrend that had been in place since July this week. So now that becomes our new resistance right around the 690 area on D's corn. So watching that, if we can get back up to there. Soybeans, we had very good export sales of 2.3 million tons this morning.
Yeah.
And China was 85% of that. So good to see them still buying as their currency is weakening.
Right, exactly.
And with the lockdowns over there, but they are still buying. 201,000 announced this morning by USDA to China and 132 to unknown, and good meal exports today. So we did have the November beans bounced off of trendline support yesterday and formed a doji on the charts for the chart guys. And we're following through on the upside today. So good to see that. And you do have support. The January board crush made new contract highs today, showing the profitability they're crushing. And soybean oil spreads are making new contract highs as well. So the products are strong. And then taking a look at wheat, exports, 185,000 tons. That's below the lowest range of estimates. We did see the Rosario exchange lowered their estimate of Argentina's crop by 1 million tons down to 15. USDA is currently 17.5. So that's because of drought conditions. And speaking of drought conditions, we got our new drought monitor for the U.S. this morning. And it shows that 70% of the winter wheat area is in drought conditions. So that's up another, I think, 4 points in the last week. So it keeps getting worse out there. And as far as the U.S., it's a record 82.23% of the country is in drought conditions. So that's given us some support on the downside. Like corn, we did break our uptrend line in D's Kansas City wheat in the past 2 weeks here. But we are holding support at the end of September lows. So we are trying to get a bounce on these markets, holding support areas, but keeping an eye on them now.
You sound mildly constructive. Would that be a good way to put it?
Yes, I am. There's bullish things when you look down the road longer term, like Ukraine. What can they get planted? And could give us more demand. But then you got some other things that could derail us here, like the Mississippi River. Was there 3, maybe 4 places that are closed now because of low water? So that's hurting our ability to get exports down to the Gulf. And then what about this railroad spec? There's still some more.
Don't even mention
from
it.
The unions.
Shame on you. I mean, if we've got a problem with the river and we have a rail strike, Katie bar the door. I mean, that's not good.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Was great content. Thank you very much, Jim Warren. He's with CHS out in Kansas City. Thanks for being on the show. We're going to bring it back here, and we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back, and I'll talk livestock with you after this.